Ah, Google is having their way with me today. Not only did Google, aka the New World Order, not only did Google shut my last two live streams down as soon as I got into the topic of the Skull and Bones 322, but today they didn't just shut the live stream down, they shut my internet off for probably 10 minutes. If you don't think that Google is paying attention to Michael Fazio, or at least their algorithm is paying attention to Michael Fazio, that's you have another guest coming. So personally, I take it as a compliment that Google has a setting for Michael Fazio, specific setting. So we'll try to do this by not talking about President Trump. Oh, and by the way, let's talk about Mr. Trump and how he, during his 2016 presidential election, stumped the Trump, whatever he was doing, how he talked about how corrupt Dianne Feinstein was, and how she was not worthy of being whatever she was in the Democratic Electoral Congress, whatever she is. He criticized her for months and months, but Mr. Trump, and I'm going to give you the links for a show that will, I'm going to give you the links for several shows that will show you that Mr. Trump just recently said that Dianne Feinstein was a woman of honor. Now, why did he say that? Well, he said that in retaliation for some newspaper articles that said that Dianne Feinstein had insider trading information on the stock market. And 3 weeks before the beer commercial, the Corona beer, 3 weeks before the Corona beer commercials appeared for the first time, 3 weeks, she dumped millions of dollars worth of stock. Her and several other congressmen and senators, they had somehow inside. No, I mean, they made a guess. They made a guess that it was time to dump all of certain stocks. Now, I would really like to know what stocks she bought when she dumped the stocks that she dumped, and then how she reinvested the money. But I would say that all of the congressmen and all of the senators and all of the higher political officials of the United States mafia, I would bet that about a month or so before the Corona beer commercials appeared on the internet, I would bet that they all invested heavily in the medical industry, because there's only going to be a few industries that are going to profit from the Corona beer commercials. So let's just see what we have here. No truth allowed here. Truth smacking. Truth smacking. No, that's where I have the article. I'm gonna show you the article. The wordsmith is here. Scott Del Fuego. Welcome to the machine. So I'm gonna have to try to stay away from saying Skull and Bones 3222222, because I swear Google set up a special setting just for Michael Fazio's channel. So during Mr. Michael Fazio, Scott, the wordsmith says, Mr. Michael Fazio, during a time that we are sailing uncharted waters, have no real frame of reference, it is a good thing to have musings of a man that has lived life by wit and action to guide us and make us think. Michael may not know what is happening, but will definitely offer an opinion and advice on how things will proceed. Thank you very much. The wordsmiths, the great Scott Del Fuego. Yeah, so, but on this topic, I actually went to sleep about 7:30, quarter to 8 last night. And then I got up at midnight and I started, for the first time, I listened to some Corona beer commercials. And I went to a channel called the Jericho Report, and I'll give you the link for that in a minute. But something that he said or something someone else said led me to this page. So I'm going to show you a page on here, and I'm going to read from this page. So just to let you know that the Corona beer commercials have, you've been lied about what Corona beer commercials do, okay? You have been bamboozled. You have been hoodwinked. And we're going to talk about being hoodwinked by an angel. And in fact, the angel, aka the $1 bill, because by definition, an angel is a messenger, and the $1 bill is the world's greatest messenger. So let's go to this first before they shut me down again. The name of this page is Event 201. And it's a global pandemic exercise. So let me give you the link for this right now so that you guys, after the show is done, can go to this link and read the article. But I am going to read the article. And in the article, which, by the way, appeared a full 3 months before the Corona beer commercials went into effect, this article is an amazing thing. So I don't know where to start. I have notes. I've gone off my show notes because if I follow my show notes, the words in my show notes, Google will shut my live stream down again. So let's try to do it in reverse. So let's talk about this Event 201 and what it really means, and by pictographic format, how you can interpret the logos for Event 201 as another 2001 9/11 event. So let's go over here. Let's go to this page here. Let's see what this says. So first of all, in pictographic format, what we have is the number 2, and it's called Event 201, which is a little bit down the page here. Yeah. Event 201. And it's a study done by Johns Hopkins University. So I'm not making this stuff up, but it doesn't just say 201. It says in pictographic format, this may represent the numeral digit 0, but if it represents the numeral 0, it also represents a circle, which is similar to a 0. So I read it as Event 201 and 2001, or 2001. And it goes on to describe it as a global pandemic exercise. So what is Event 201? Well, let's read a little bit about this. Okay, so when you go down the page, you're going to come to Event 201, which I call 2001, because they are doing once again the same thing they did in the year 2001. They are, in fact, destroying not just part of the economy this time, but they're gonna go for the gusto. They're destroying the entire economy. And what happened in 2001, of course, everyone knows that the World Trade Centers were destroyed. However, they were destroyed. A lot of people believe it was done with energy weapons. A lot of people believe that there was thermite in the buildings. Both of those are true. One thing that is not true about the World Trade Center catastrophe is how the public media portrayed the destruction of those buildings. However, I want to add that there's a woman I've been friends with. I guess I was her press boy back in 1970, Long Island press boy, and her name is Esther. And when I went back to New York in April and May to retrieve some things, I never go to New York without visiting Esther. I have never gone to New York without stopping by the house at least several times to see if she was home. So on this last trip, she was home. And we sat down in a kitchen that I have been sitting down in since I was 5 years old, because before Esther owned the house, another friend of mine, a childhood friend, owned that house. So we sat down in her kitchen. Now, Esther, she's a conspiracy theorist, but she has her facts straight. So Esther worked in the garment industry, but she had friends that worked in and around the World Trade Center. And something that she told me I didn't know about. Now, if you'll remember, before we go to this global pandemic, LaRue Seagrass, welcome to the machine. Good morning, LaRue. Oh my goodness, we have the wordsmith said something else. Guide us and make us think, Michael. You may not know what is happening, but he will definitely offer an opinion and an advice on how things will proceed. Oh, I have my opinion about how things, not just proceeding, but the event is now taking place to destroy the world economy. That's not just an opinion. I have it straight from the horse's mouth from a New York State official. What's going on in New York that I spoke with also when I woke up around 12 o'clock last night. I called up a few friends of mine from New York, one of which is a state official, and he gave me some inside information. So digressing back, LaRue Seagrass has a channel, and she's a very religious person. So if you believe in God and you believe in Jesus, then LaRue Seagrass has a channel that you certainly will enjoy, and she's very articulate and speaks very good English. So I would suggest that you click the three little dots next to LaRue's name if you want to see a Filipina talk about religion and God and how to maintain positive attitude. LaRue Seagrass has that channel. I don't have that kind of mindset. But digressing back to Esther in New York. So Esther happened to have been in New York City that day of 9/11. And she often visited her friend. We're not going to talk about Trade Centers 1 and 2, and we're not going to talk about Building 7. We're going to talk about Building 4. Okay. Building 4 was a level 4 biological laboratory in the basement of Building 4. So she explained to me that Building 4 was also destroyed. And I looked on the internet, and I didn't actually see anything at that time. But if it was destroyed, and I do believe her, because her friend, who was in the car with her that day, by chance, Building 4 was destroyed. And if there was a level 4 biological laboratory, you can't find out any information about that. However, the woman that was in Esther's car worked in Building 4, and I won't say she worked in that laboratory, but by chance, she wasn't in the building at the time of its destruction. Now, it's almost impossible to find out any information about that. However, that is what Esther told me. So immediately after 9/11, I spoke with one of Mayor Giuliani's deputy mayors, Joel, Joela, as in Alpha, Miele, Miele. who then became, well, at the time, Joel Mealy and Mayor Giuliani had an office in Building 7. Now, Joel Mealy was one of the New York City's most prestigious architects and a personal friend of Mayor Giuliani, which is where I saw Mayor Giuliani at Joel Mealy's house many times during the 80s and the 90s because they were friends. Joel had a very high clearance in the United States military operation. He was the world's youngest, the United States' youngest full commander in the Seabees. So Joel Mealy was in charge of all construction from Florida to Maine and from New York City to someplace in the Midwest. So if the United States Army or Seabees built something of any high nature, stature, the plans had to go across his desk. He also has an architectural firm in New York City, which still exists. So Joel became a consultant for at that time, Mayor Giuliani, and he became the head of building inspections and bridge, tunnel, and building inspections for Mayor Giuliani during his reign of terror. And what his job was to go out and inspect the public bridges and public roadways and causeways. So what he would do for the city was he would take college students. He always had college students working for him since I was a little boy. And I actually am the person that built his office. I rebuilt it in the 90s with his son, Joel, and my crew of men. In fact, the conference table that's in his office, if there is ever a video of his conference table in his office that seats about 20 people, I built that. It was a square table. I tapered off the sides to be like concave, like little arced on the sides, and then I put some sort of hardwood around the outside, and I did some other stuff. I lowered the table so it would be more convenient to do paperwork and things on. So I am actually the person that built, and then that entire office, aka his conference room, I built that room. So how do I know Joel A. Mealy? Well, I know him since I was about 8 years old. So I had the ability to walk in and out of his house if I was hungry, or just walk in and out of his house and get a snack, or we were friends. Our family, I spent more Christmases, Easters, Thanksgivings, and Christmases and New Year's at Joel Mealy's house than I spent at my family's houses. So I know Joe. So anyway, after the event of 2001, I saw Joe on the street. I was living in Florida, but I went back to New York in 2001, right after 9/11, and I asked him, how did the buildings really collapse? Now, I'm asking a person that is in charge of all construction for all of New York City, or reconstruction of bridges. I'm asking a man that has one of the most successful architectural firms in America, and I'm asking my friend who's, I don't have video of it, but when you walk into the house, there's a goldfish pond that I built back in 1975 for him. Prior to that, it leaked, and every time someone came in and fixed it, it leaked. And I went in and created a fiberglass tub in the pond with the drainage. I gutted it all out, put pipes underground, and to this day, it doesn't leak. So that's 40 years ago, 50 years ago. So, well, no, 40 years ago. And so I know Joe. So I said to him, how did the buildings really fall? Because it didn't make any sense that airplanes knocked the buildings down. And he said, word for word, airplanes, the jet fuel. Now he's also a member of Mensa. You can look him up, Joel A. Mealy. His IQ was absurdly high. In fact, his two sisters are both Mensa members. I won't mention their names because they're not public figures. But Joel A. Mealy is a public figure. So we had a small conversation at that time, and I basically told him he was full of it. I told him he was full of horse doo-doo. And I said it pretty much like that, too. And I just walked away because I knew that was not the case even then. So later, after that, he became the buildings inspector, I think it was. However, immediately, I mean, like 24 hours after the 9/11 catastrophe, he was interviewed. I don't have the article up on the page, but I have the article saved somewhere. He was interviewed by the Department of Health on behalf of the emergency firefighters and police and people dismantling the buildings illegally, I might add. And he was asked if there's any contamination that the emergency service workers would have to worry about. And his answer was no, absolutely none. Now, aside from the fact that the buildings were being condemned or about to be condemned for asbestos contamination, and that it would cost billions of dollars to remove the asbestos from the beams that were 36 inches by 42 inches and 4 inches thick H beams with 2-inch high tensile strength rebar inside, and then poured concrete around the rebar. And that's what 450-degree jet fuel melted. That's an amazing thing, I got to tell you. Aside from that, he was interviewed, and he said there is absolutely nothing for the emergency service workers to worry about. And so let's just move past the asbestos poisoning, which existed. There were, I don't know if there was 100 or 200 tons of asbestos in those buildings. I have no idea. But I do remember them blowing it on when I worked on a tugboat in 1969. I was a deckhand on my dad's tugboat. And we actually were working on the reclamation project outside of the World Trade Center, where we were reclaiming several hundred feet of shorefront by putting in we put in a cofferdam, but before the cofferdam went up, we put hundreds. My father brought hundreds of pilings from different locations that were 150 feet long, and they put those pilings into the bed of the Hudson River, and they would pound those pilings down. Big barges, 150, 200-ton barges, would come in with what is called an ice hammer on them, and they would pound those pylons down that were like 36 inches by 36 inches. They would pound them down till those pylons went through the muck and sand of the Hudson River and hit what is known as hard pack or rock. Okay, so basically they went down to the rock foundation of New York City. And I worked on that job, and I remember going up to the 86th floor and seeing it with a hard hat from the job. Before we went to work, Donald Sturdivant and I used to go up on top of the towers, and we would look down at the Hudson River. We'd get to work at 5:30, 5:45 in the morning. We would take the work elevator up, put our hard hats on, and take the work elevator up to where at that time it was up to the 86th floor, where they didn't have windows, and we'd just hang out and watch. And then my dad would, at like 6:45, he'd start blowing the horn on the tugboat. Where are you guys? And we'd have to scoot down there, the work elevator back down to the boat, and then we get our butts chewed out for being late. So anyway, so Joel Mealy, digressing back to Joel Mealy. So I remember the asbestos. It was blown on with huge blowers, and that stuff set aside, Joe Mealy knew that there were not thousands, but tens of thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands. Welcome to the machine, Chief Corsairs. Welcome to the machine. So there were, Chief Corsairs has a channel also besides LaRue Seagrass. She's kind of taken over the internet, Chief Corsairs. She's got 4,500 subscribers from nowhere. And she does some interesting things on there, on her show. So if you want to, now I personally can watch her show for a little while, but then, then she starts to sing and hurts my ears. So when she starts singing, I start leaving. I leave when the singing starts. But she does have, she speaks Visayas. So for those of you Filipinas and Filipinos out there, she can speak the language of the Philippines. And I guess in her language, she has a lot to say. But the singing part, people pay me to sing also, but they pay me not to sing. So maybe you should start collecting Super Chat for people that don't want you to sing. And it would even exceed your Super Chat for singing. So digressing back to Joel Mealy, he said there was absolutely nothing to worry about in the debris for the emergency service technicians. However, here's he's not just smart, he's one of the world's smartest architects. On the flat plane that we live on, he has one of the biggest architectural firms in Queens, New York, if not the biggest. He's the advisor for the Mayor Giuliani for the buildings and structural departments. Okay, so and in general, he was just smart, and he's also in charge of the Seabees, all construction for the United States military. And the Seabees basically runs building bridges and things like that, temporary bridges for all of the United States. And he said to the Department of Health or Department of Environmental Protection, which, by the way, he became the head of the Department of Environmental Protection Agency. We're going to talk about that in a moment as well. He said in an interview, and the whole interview was one paragraph, Joel A. Mealy was asked if there's any kind of hazardous materials in the debris from the World Trade Center, and his response was absolutely none. Now, I was talking about light bulbs. At the time, they used fluorescent light bulbs that were 2, 4, and 8 feet long, 6 feet long. Inside those light bulbs has a carcinogenic material known as mercury in its vaporous form. And there were, I don't know how many, hundreds of thousands of those light bulbs in the debris. Hundreds of thousands, maybe 1 million. I don't know, because they also have storage for those light bulbs. But aside from that carcinogenic, there was also asbestos in the debris. And he knew, he's one of the smartest people. Let's just say he's one of the smartest people on the planet at that time in that period of history. And he said, no, there's no carcinogenics, nothing hazardous to the emergency workers, which turned out to be not true. So when he said that, I was like, what did he say? Which is where we're going with one of the articles I have up on my screen that I'm about to show you. So you're not getting the truth. So after Joel A. Mealy was the buildings inspector for under Mayor Giuliani, he switched departments shortly after 9/11. So I want to just add one more thing. Mayor Giuliani and Joel A. Mealy, they had a bunker in Building 7. They never went to that building that day. They never went in the building. Now, we won't talk about, there was an office fire that started somewhere in Building 7, and eventually the building fell down. The stories that you people believe are amazing. So from an office fire, I did talk to someone about that. I don't think it was Joel. I spoke with another person about this privately on the internet, and I said, "Why do you think that they didn't put the office fire out right away?" And the reason that they gave was because after the trade centers collapsed, the water pipes that went to the trade centers were broken, and there was no water for Building 7. Now, do I believe that? I don't believe it. So, I mean, there had to be a shut-off valve somewhere before the World Trade Centers, and someone would have to think to shut off the valve because, you know, millions of gallons of water an hour would go through those valves. So, do I believe that? No, I don't believe it. All right, so then Joe, well, I call him Joe, and I could call him Joe because he's been Joe to me since I've been barbecuing in his backyard and vice versa. So Joe, let's just call him Joe. Joe became the head of the Department of Environmental Protection. Now, I won't tell you exactly what that is, but basically he's in charge of the environmental protection for New York City. So he became the head of the Department of Environmental Protection. So the state official that I'm going to talk about that gave me some information yesterday, who is a state official in the department, New York City Department of Works, he told me some of the stuff that's going on in New York City yesterday. And basically, he told me what's available, what's not available, what's going to happen, and what is happening behind the scenes. So he was given the information that on March 22nd, the city of New York City was going pretty much into a full lockdown mode, and that Wall Street was going to be shut down. And they knew that a full week before that they shut Wall Street down. So now you have the economic capital of the world, which at one time, New York City, Wall Street, and now they'll only be allowed to go in, work on computers. There's no more. Wall Street, as far as I know, is shut down. There is also, and I got to tell you, this is funny, because Steve Montelli talks about the toilet paper index all the time. He mentioned that a month ago, he got a notice that there was going to be a shortage due to a catastrophe of unprecedented proportions, and that if he was going to get foods and store foods, he should have gone close to a month ago from today. And he went out and bought, and I know he's not lying about this, but he went out and bought 24 packs of toilet paper, and he bought filled up the back of his vehicle. It's almost big, probably could fit 30 packages of 24 rolls of toilet paper. That's all he bought that day, toilet paper. So he has several hundred rolls of toilet paper. So he's toilet papered up. But he got a notice saying that toilet paper was going to become scarce and there was going to be food shortages. So right now in New York City, in the supermarkets, some days there are eggs and some days there is meat. And other days there are no eggs and no meat. Some days there is milk and some days there is no milk. So those are basically the staples. Rice is limited to 1 bag per person if there is rice on the shelves. However, he did go to the store, I think it was Saturday morning, and there was no spaghetti and no rice. None. Zero. And the funny thing is, I know he doesn't like what they call patina. I think it's those little balls of spaghetti. You put them in soup. I don't like them. He said even the patina, I think it's patina, even the patinas were gone. And we laughed because we don't like those things. We never liked them. So, but he said there was zero spaghetti and zero rice on the shelves. On the day he went, there was milk, but only the real expensive milk, like the almond flavored milk in the 1 quart jars, the special almond flavored milk, which is really just artificial flavors that makes it taste like almond. And the very expensive artificially flavored milks were on the shelf. That's what he puts in his coffee, like a mocha latte, whatever it is. So there's no staples on the shelves and no toilet paper. So I just wanted to let everybody know, if you're going to New York City to buy toilet paper, don't bother. So let's see what Scott Del Fuego has to say. All right, so Scott's talking about Chi is saying hello to Scott. Scott's saying hello to Chi. Chi's saying hello to LaRue Seagrass. Baggy Eyes, shout out to Chi. Shout out to Chi. Shout out, shout out, shout out. Scott says, welcome to the lovely honeybee Chi. And Baggy Eyes, hello to LaRue. Chi Corsairs is saying hello to Baggy Eyes. Chi Corsairs, oh yeah, honeybee, I love it. Okay, so I don't know what that honeybee references to. Okay, so Scott Del Fuego going up into the comments. A number of Chicago personnel that assisted on the site for only 2 to 3 weeks have developed cancer and diseases of mutation. Well, that, Scott, we had to digress to the top of the comments because I had missed that one. Scott's talking about the emergency service technicians, that they so called them, that came from Chicago to assist at the World Trade Center cleanup, which was totally illegal by all standards worldwide. Anytime there's a catastrophe, the evidence was supposed to be left until the evidence could be procured and then tested for explosives. Well, that didn't happen. Giuliani had trucks and machinery chopping up that steel and debris and shipping it off to China within 24 hours, and didn't allow anybody on the job site to take any samples. Now, people did take samples, but they weren't qualified people, so they know darn well what one of the causes of the building's collapse were. So Scott says that a number of Chicago personnel that assisted on the site for only 2 or 3 weeks developed cancer and other diseases of mutation. Yup. And so did several hundred U.S. New York City firefighters and police. So, but I mean, to be fair, we're going to talk about the New York City firefighters and police and how they scammed the system as well. So they did it probably because it was their job, but they also did it, in my opinion, for some nefarious reasons. Because, so as it turns out, there's a class action lawsuit. Now, this is 19 years and they still haven't settled this, because they're never going to settle it. And Architects for 9/11, that is the biggest joke in the history of world fraud. No, Architects for 9/11 is the biggest fraud that has ever been perpetrated on the people of this world. Okay, so another thing I did discuss with Joe when I went back in 2006 was I asked Joe why he wasn't a member of, why he didn't put in his, at that point, which talking 5 years later, why he didn't tell people why the building, because by that time everybody knew why the buildings were destroyed. Why? He said, no, he stuck with his original story. The man was really good at subterfuge, lying, and he was pretty good at stabbing you in the back as well. This guy could sit there and smile at you. I gotta tell you, man, I stopped talking to him back in the 90s. I talked to him for those 2 times, but I did stop talking to him back in, I guess it was 91 or 92. I went to Mrs. Oll's house, OWL, with him, right down where we lived. And I got a check, I think it was for $5,000 from Mrs. Oll for Joe to do her bulkhead permit, and I was going to get the job. Now, it would take 18 months for him to get the permit, because he could do all the permitting. But on the way to the house, we made an agreement that he would give me $500 for as what it's called compensation. I'm entitled to 10% of anything he earns because I introduce him to a client. That's when you take your business license, you learn about something called compensation. And if I introduce a contractor to a client and the contractor gets a job for $5,000 or $10,000, whatever it is, I'm entitled to up to 10% of the price of that job. It's called the finder's fee. Just like a person that sells a house gets between 6% and 10% if it's a commercial property. A real estate agent gets 10%. It's called compensation. If you are a property manager, you get 10% of the rent each month for managing the property. So it's called compensation. It's a legal issue. I mean, it's not something that I'm making up. And if anybody ever had a business license where you are in a position to get jobs and reference jobs to other people, I'm entitled to 10%. And at that time, I had a general contractor's license and a marine construction license in New York City. So I'm entitled for bringing the architect to the client's house to 10%. So we went into the house. We talked to Mrs. Oll, who I was her paper boy for when I was from, I guess, 1970 to 1972. That was when I had 10 route. And Mrs. Oll gave him a check for $5,000. And while we were on the way back to Joe's house, because I was going to have lunch with the family, I said, Joe, when do I get my $500? And he looked at me and said, what $500? I said, well, no. I knew where he was going with this because he does this to everybody. He twists words around and he basically lies. So I said, the $500 is 10%. He goes, no. Actually, the job was $5,000. He got a check for $2,500. But either way, I'm entitled to $500 for the job. So he goes, no, that he said that money was mine. I said, I never said that. So at this time we were in his house, and I won't mention his wife or daughter, but his entire family were there. We were all going to have lunch. I fixed that proper. So I said, no, you have to give me $500. And he's going, Mike, this is my money. He says, if you want to get $500 for her, you have to get that on top of the job. And I said, let me see that check. And I took the check and I ripped it up and I threw it in the fish pond that I built for him 10 years earlier. So, well, 10, yeah, about 10 years. I was 17 when I built this pond, and I was about 30 years old. Yeah, maybe 12 years. I threw it on the floor. I ripped up the check, and he didn't get the job. I went and got somebody else, not $5,000 to do the architectural work, but I got a guy out in Long Island that did it for $800, I think the guy did it for, and he had the permit in 6 weeks. Joe was going to charge $5,000 and said it'd take 18 months. So, digressing back to Scott's comments, where the emergency workers developed cancerous, carcinogenic side effects from sorting through the debris. There's hundreds and hundreds of people, but they won't. Those people have signed some sort of gag order where now they don't talk about that. A lot of them just disappeared off the face of the earth. Any higher up authority that worked for New York City that was giving out interviews as to what really happened, those people died almost within weeks of the time they gave an interview. Scott said, it is odd there were no large intact pieces of aircraft recovered. I am not an expert, but it seems huge jet engines or landing gear should have left some big pieces. I don't recall seeing any. There was none. There were no parts of planes. All right, so let's see what we have here. Naki Dave says, I'm with you. Dan rather pretended he never told us Building 7 fell. I think you're talking about he never told us Building 7 fell before Building 7 fell. So near me, Scott Del Fuego was talking about the food stores. Near me, the shelves were stripped of paper products, pastas, rice, beans, and meat. Yeah, that's another thing the New York State official explained to me. No paper goods, nothing, no paper cups, nothing, no paper plates. There wasn't, I don't know why. I mean, people can wash dishes, but okay. Two Bears, because of that word you used, which is a good word, by the way, but I can't show that comment. So Two Bears says, let's go shave a hair off the door so it won't stick. We had no coffee, no Lysol, no masks, everything else in Toronto. Yeah, that they are destroying the economy. So I really should, let me get down to the bottom here. I'm going to skip through a few comments. Pinoy Ahoy says, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by, Pinoy Ahoy. Thank you very much. Now, Pinoy Ahoy also does live shows quite often. You might want to go see his live shows. He did one of a pier and a beach yesterday, I think it was, where he lives, and on the beach with some Filipinos partying. I did see your show yesterday, Pinoy Ahoy. It was interesting. And it's the pier goes out, it's a concrete pier, goes out into the ocean, and he was showing you the water splashing on the rocks and things like that. Baggy Eyes says, I watched live. A lady on the British Broadcasting Communications reporter said that Building 7 fell. It was 20 minutes, not 30 minutes later. 22 minutes later, Building 7 fell after she reported it falling down. Baggy Eyes. Not that it makes a difference, but I think it was 22 minutes later. The building fell after she reported it in Great Britain. Two Bear says, you had a paper out. Lucky guy. I was stuck shoveling driveways and cutting lawns for $2. I shoveled a lot of walks. I like shoveling snow. It was good exercise. And all my customers would hire me to shovel their walks. All my paper customers, like even after I had a paper out, when I was 12 and 13 years old, 14 years old too. Then when I went back to those people, they would let me shovel their walk and they would give me good money. Well, Dennis Adams. Dennis Adams is in the house. Welcome to the machine, Dennis Adams. Thank you for stopping by. Two Bears. Hello. Nice to see you, Chi Corseras, Baggy Eyes, and Scott Del Fuego. Dennis is saying hello to Scott. Scott's saying hello to Kevin. Big Kevin is in the house. Big Kevin. Big Kevin. He has now taken over the slot of the most talked about Philippines blogger. Welcome to the machine, Big Kevin. Thanks for stopping by. I saw Big Kevin's live stream when I woke up at midnight last night, where you were on the bench outside your aunt's house at the pond, and you were talking about you're going to start going swimming, but you don't like things touching you when you're swimming. Well, Big Kev, that lake behind you has a water temperature of about 54 or 53 degrees. So if you do go swimming in there, I would imagine it's going to be brief. But I did see your show. It was interesting. They were working on the porch on your aunt's house, and you walked through there, and the steps were off the runners. So I didn't say hello. I caught the end of it live just as you were saying goodbye, and then I watched part of it before I went to sleep. So Big Kevin has a channel, and Big Kevin is he is the Philippines blogging community's number one, baby, number one collector of Super Chat, PayPal, and Western Union funds. And he's funding a trip to the Philippines. He was funding a trip to the Philippines to go see his children. But on his show yesterday, he was, on another show, he was talking to some other bloggers that his children's country of political status, whatever that's called, their passport status might be changed to Australia. So he's working on getting to see his children. But he is the number one collector of Super Chat and not Patreon, but PayPal and Western Union on YouTube. So of all the bloggers that blog or talk about the Philippines, Big Kevin is number one, baby. He's number one. So if you're going to donate money to a channel and you only have just one channel that you're going to donate money to, well, Big Kevin is working on collecting funds for one of two reasons, either to go to the Philippines to see his children, where he said he has half the money available to pay his overstay fees. So, I mean, if you want to help somebody do something that's worthwhile, not somebody, and that makes you laugh, Big Kevin can make you laugh. He's got a strange sense of humor. Has had one for a while. But if you just have one blogger that you're going to donate money to, Big Kevin would be whatever he uses the money for, because he also said that he might go see, I forget the girl's name, somebody in Brazil. So he wants to also make a trip to Brazil. So he hasn't, we've had our conversations in the past. He's got a couple of things. He can't work because of his disability, and he has no real other means of support. So if you're going to just support just one blogger, any one blogger, even if you hear stories that he's a fraud and he's a scammer and he's this and he's that, just remember that Big Kevin has no other source of income whatsoever. So, and if whatever money goes to him seeing his kids, or whatever money goes to him seeing a girl, he hasn't really been dating anybody for several years. Why get upset about that? Once you give the money, it's his money to do what he wants with. Don't listen to Big Kevin being a scammer. He's allowed to change his mind as to what he's going to do with the money. Things change, times change, people change. the status of his children's nationality, passport, on their passport changes. So Big Kevin is in the house. Welcome to the machine. And one thing about Big Kevin is he always gives you, if he likes your channel, he'll give you a nice shout out. Like I gave Big Kevin a shout out, and Corsairs a shout out. And Big E doesn't need a shout out because Big E never going to monetize his channel. Plus, Big E doesn't need the money. And I know that because he told me, and I believe him. So Big Kevin is in the house. Welcome to the machine, Big Kevin. Baggy Eye, shout out to Big Kevin. Dennis Adams, hello, Big Kevin. Everybody loves Big Kevin. Now, there was a time, so hello, Two Bears and a big coal-fired hello to Dennis Adams. Oh, Scott Del Fuego, coal-fired stove to Dennis. Now, if any of you people out there heat your house with coal, well, I know I had a pot-bellied stove that I would go to the beach and collect wood for to keep my shop warm. But Dennis Adams has a channel how to stoke a coal-fired oven, a heating facility stove, a coal-fired stove that heats your house. He knows how to put the coal in. He'll show you how to put the coal around the back and side edges so that it burns more evenly. He'll tell you about the different types of coal that are available, how fast they'll burn, how to stoke the stove so that it'll last longest so you can sleep at night, how to store the coal, he's got a really cool video how the coal comes off the truck. Yeah, so Big Kevin and Dennis Adams, they have things to say. They have videos up on their channel and they have things to say. So again, Big Kevin saying hello to Scott. And Big Kevin says, hey, I heard stories that you don't send money to your kids. God almighty, the stories never end, boy. Scott Del Fuego. And yep, Scott, okay, so the reason why Big Kevin is not able to actually go out and earn a living, but at one time he worked on a fishing boat in Alaska, which is a tough job. And then he worked as an above-ground miner. He did real man's work at one time, but now his disability doesn't allow him to work as he once did. So he has no other source of income till he hits Social Security age. And anybody that begrudges Big Kevin a few dollars that he gets, and it's not much, jeez, I hear stories that Big Kevin went through, collected $30,000. Now, I don't know and I don't care how much Big Kevin earned. Doesn't matter to me because he collected it. For whatever reason, what do you care? But anyway, $30,000. I'm going to tell you something. There are people that spend. Well, I know this for a fact. When I went back to New York City, there was always this delicatessen that we went in to buy breakfast in the morning. Well, like a coffee mocha latte is like $4, and one of those croissants. There are people that spend $6 a day for a coffee and a snack, and they do that not just the days they go to work, but they do that 7 days a week. So that's $200 a month for coffee only. And then there are people that go into that same store. There's a Spanish cook from Mexico who took over the cooking in the store. I mean, a takeout dinner in that store is like $9. And there are people that don't eat. So you figure another 30 days because some people go into that store every day for food. I know people that go into that store. So 30 times 9 is $270 plus 180. That's $370. That's $450 a month just on a coffee and a snack and dinner. And I know people that go into that store for breakfast and dinner on their way home from work when they get off the train. So that's $450 a month. You can spend 30,000, and that'd be 5,000 a year just for breakfast and dinner. You can spend $30,000 on. It's not so hard to spend $30,000. I used to put that in my trucks and my boat in gas and diesel. So anybody that begrudges Big Kevin the ability to earn a meager living, what is $30,000? That's nothing. What the heck? What is 12 times what is 30,500, 1,200? It's not much. It's not much when you break it down by the year, and then he has to pay rent and all of that. So I got to tell you, boy, that's some jealousy. And the same person that begrudges Big Kevin earning a few rubles, a few dollars, a little bit of iron on YouTube, the same person probably has said the word "give me super chat" 10,000 times last year. I don't know. I mean, I wish that there was some way to review the videos, the worthless videos that the hater has on his channel, and just pick out the word super chat and donations to my channel, or donations, just to pick out certain key phrases like nobody gives me super chat, nobody donates to my channel, nobody gives me money, I don't need money because I'm self-sufficient. I would say that money, in regards to going into that other man, slip of the tongue, into that other man, slip of the tongue, into that other guy's channel, I would say that he probably asked for, insinuated, begged, got upset, or created a ruckus because no one sent him super chat. I would say it happened 10,000 times last year, but there's no way to actually know. And because once he says something egregious, he pulls the videos down. So there's really no way to prove that anybody said anything. But the fact remains that if you just took an average of sometimes 50 or 60 times in a 1 hour rant about people not sending money to his channel, and you times it by several hundred videos that go up and come down. Oh my God! Big Kevin says if you want to buy me donuts a couple of times, and he doesn't say so anyway, Big Kevin is a much loved member, although some people don't love Big Kevin as much as others. So Scott Del Fuego, you're welcome, Big Kevin. Big Kevin said, thanks for the shout out. Scott says, the guy took a bolo to the head for crap's sake. He had his head opened up like a tuna can with a machete and didn't even go to the ground. He deserves respect for being that tough. And, that was a terrible story that Big Kevin had. He did get hit in the head with a bolo knife, and he's still alive, and he does have a disability, and he's not able to work. So if there's just one channel on YouTube that you want to super chat and you got a couple of dollars and you want to buy him some donuts, I would suggest that you spend that money wisely. And he doesn't buy donuts with the money. He just does that as a joke, which he's really good at. He's got a dry sense of humor in some cases, but God Almighty, if you only have $5 and you have $5 this month to super chat somebody, send it to Big Kevin. Send it to because some of us don't need the money as much as other people, and some of us. I got to tell you, man, I hear stories about me. Oh, my God, the stories I hear about me. And the stories I heard about my Patreon member. Oh, my God. First of all, let's clear this up. Let's just clear up this Patreon nonsense, these stories you hear on Patreon. Let's clear this up. Passport TV was never a member of my Patreon community. So you may have heard a man, slip of the tongue. You may have heard somebody talking about Passport being a member of my Patreon community and then quitting. Passport never was a member of my Patreon community. Never. Not one day. Didn't sign up and quit. So from that point, if Passport was never a member of my super chat, never super chatted me either. If Passport was never a member of my Patreon community, therefore Passport could have never quit my Patreon community. Therefore, I could never be mad at Passport for quitting my Patreon membership. So when a person can't get that part of the story straight, when it's in depth detail in a video I put up last week, a live stream, if a person can't get that part of the story straight, even though you can rerun it and copy it and paste it and look at it and see the words on the screen, what part of any other story can that person not understand or get straight? So I could get involved with why Passport and I had a disagreement, but I won't, because let's just leave it at the point where Passport was supposed to do something for me and didn't do it. And that's why Passport got blocked. Well, even I may have forgot to do that, but that's why him and I no longer talk. He made some promises that he didn't keep. And I'm going to tell you, he called up into a little ball when the crap hit the fan. He has no spine. Tough guy with his mouth on YouTube, but not so much when it comes to fulfilling his promises. Not so much. Not so much. And anybody that's a member of my Patreon community or my friends here that disagree with me and you want to quit now. I don't care. But they know that I don't lie about this stuff. Passport was supposed to do something that he didn't do, that he said he was going to do. And that's why I don't have anything to do with Passport. It has nothing. Nowhere did I ever say Passport was a member of my Patreon community. And nowhere did I ever say I was upset that he quit, because he never was a member. But that other guy, he can't get a story straight, boy. What he can do is take one little soundbite of a story and then create some fictional, delusional scenario around the word Passport TV, none of which was true. And when I listen to that, I'm going, why can't this guy get a story straight? Why can't he do that? Why is it so hard? So now let's just digress to my Patreon account. So I did lose a $3 member of my Patreon account back in November. That was the last Patreon account member that I lost. But since November, I gained a $50 Patreon per month member. And about 3 weeks ago, one member who went off because his credit card was hacked, he came back on and doubled. I won't say what it is, but he doubled his pledge. And then I got just like 8 days ago, another member of my Patreon community at the $20 level, whose name is Big E, being that he put it on his video. And I said to him, you can quit at any time if you don't like what's on my Patreon community, what's available. And he said, man, he goes, with the stuff that you have on your Patreon page, he has 1,000 hours of videos to review. He says, I won't be quitting anytime soon. So, I mean, it's an option to quit anytime you like. But Passport was never a member of my Patreon community. And the last time I lost a Patreon member was back in November. And that was a $3 member. And I wasn't upset that he quit. I was upset that he didn't explain to me why he quit. Because I did a lot of extra work for him in time and video format and sending him personal emails with videos and things like that on it. Videos that you only see at the $20 or $50 level of Patreon. So the story that you hear is not necessarily the story that's true. And I got to tell you, if there's a fictional and or creator of stories that have nothing to do with reality, one of those is in fact, I think he claims he's the most famous blogger in the Philippines. I think that his claim to fame, he's the most famous blogger in the Philippines. Now, that guy can create a story and a ruckus on YouTube. And some of the things he says is just, I mean, for me to have never mentioned the word Patreon and passport in the same sentence, and then for passport to be some sort of evil person because he quit my Patreon account, there's not a word of truth in his vlog. And that, of course, he took it down. Okay, but Passport was let's just clear it up. Passport TV was never a member of my Patreon community. Passport TV never donated $1 to Super Chat. But I did consider him a friend. And then when he betrayed my friendship, I excommunicated him from my social circle, as he well knows. He's welcome to come on here and articulate his side of the story, because actually I don't think I blocked him. But he won't do that, because when he comes on here, I am going to demand that he opens up, first of all, his face, which he's never shown on YouTube, number one. And number two, I'm going to demand that he opens up our personal emails. I will give him permission to open up my personal emails on YouTube so that you'll all have my email address. But we're going to go through the emails and what I requested and that he never responded to, because he's a coward. He's a big mouth, but he's a coward. And he's had a big mouth against a certain blogger for months on end. He never stopped. Every day. He had hundreds of sound clips. But when the crap hit the fan, he backed out. He bowed down. He cowed down. So Passport, if you're out there watching, come on with your face, because I need to see your face. And I want to see your face. And then when you put your face on, if you don't open up my emails to you, when I see your face and hear your voice, if you don't open up my emails to you, I will in fact go to my Yahoo email and I will open up my correspondence to you where you did not respond when I asked you certain questions. So Passport, come to the show. Let's make it a really big show. So anyway, I didn't really want to get off on that subject again, but I just felt that it was necessary to clear up. Passport was never a member of my Patreon community. I don't remember Passport ever super chatting me, and I wasn't mad at Passport because he didn't give me money. I am mad at Passport because he didn't respond to simple questions that I thought as a friend he should. He's not required to by law. He doesn't have to do that by law. But if we're friends, then he should have. And so that's why we are not friends anymore. So now the other guy has enough material to make 16 or 17 more hours of shows about my Patreon account and how he's going to do this and he's going to do that and he's going to do this and he's going to do that, and he's going to do this, and he's going to do that, and he ain't going to do none of that stuff. So, we see Super Chat. Oh, my God, we're going to ring. We're going to bang the pot. So, Dennis Adams. Oh, my God. Big Kevin No Bull says Scott Del Fuego. Big Kevin No Bull and Michael have both kicked death in the eye, laughed at it, and returned back to this mortal coil. A bit worse for wear, but still spitting fire. They are both badass and real men. Salamat. Yeah, that's probably true. I was slashed. My back was slashed open when I was 15. I just turned 15 years old and went to the hospital and died in the emergency room. And Big Kevin was probably on the verge of death as well. So that's true what Scott said. All right, let's go back to the comments. Dennis Adams, Big Kevin, LOL to Scott. Dennis Adams says, "Thank you, Michael. I may soon be doing another coal delivery video. Decided to get my next load early because of this virus and shutdown of businesses." Okay, so actually, it's probably a very good move economically as well, because coal is at a prices should be going down now that the warmer months are approaching, and who knows what the coal price will be next year. Good move, Dennis Adams. Very good. Economic situation for coal is probably the best it's ever going to be. They'll probably raise the price of coal next year like they raised the price of natural gas. It'll be some phenomenal. I'd fill that room right up to the top this time. You took 6 tons last time. I'd take 8. I think you could fit 8 or 9 tons in that room. Get a kid to push some of that coal over into the corner. But I would fill that room right up to the ceiling. Dennis says, "Scott, I know for a fact that Bolo would have killed him, of course, because we are much smaller people than Big Kevin." Then Dennis goes on to say, "Big Kev is a lucky man to be here today. Another one of the good guys." That's right. So that's true. So like I said, if there's just $1 or $5 that you have to super chat somebody that's not on welfare, I would suggest you super chat it to Big Kevin, because Big Kevin has no other means of support, where some of the other people collect monies from the government. So I would suggest that you give it to somebody that could use it. Personally, if I was just going to donate to only any one person, and I wanted to donate to one person, which I am actually doing now by directing you to donate to somebody, Big Kevin would be the man. He'd be the guy I would send money to. I wouldn't send money to anybody else. Even though there's the greatest Philippines blogger in all of YouTube history that puts on 3 to 5 shows a day, I don't think he needs the money. So I wouldn't send him money. But Big Kevin, he needs the money. So send your donations, Super Chat, Patreon, and PayPal to Big Kevin No Bull. Big Kev, throw up your, see if somebody could get Big Kevin's link and put it up there. Give him a shout out in case there's somebody here that doesn't know who Big Kevin is. And then Scott Del Fuego, he gives me a thumbs up for talking about Big Kev, because everybody loves Big Kevin. Now, there was a time for about 48 hours that Big Kev and I had a little bit of a disagreement. And Big Kevin accommodated me by ending the nonsense that was going on his channel. He did not originate the nonsense, but he ended the nonsense on his channel. There were people coming to his channel for a short period of time that were just getting out of hand. And I asked Big Kevin to put an end to that. And probably within 24 hours, he did that. And our differences began and ended within a 48-hour period of time. So if there is anybody that's going to critique me for critiquing Big Kevin, my critiquing of Big Kevin went on for about 48 hours. But I have to tell you, it was an amazing video. And I did enjoy making that kind of a video. And in fact, it stopped all the trolls on my channel, which is why I enjoyed making that video. No longer do I have certain people coming on my channel and saying stupid things. So let's get back to the topic at hand. And the topic at hand, Let me get through the. Oh, wait. We didn't sing for Scott Del Fuego. Yes, Keith Jetski says, we are getting right back there right now. I just saw that comment. Scott Del Fuego sent a major super chat, today's biggest and most gracious super chat. We're going to sing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Scott Del Fuego. Ooh, wait a second. Salamat, Scott. Wait. I'm going to try to call somebody who I promised I would put on the show. And I do believe at today they have, from my understanding, that okay, I don't see that person online, but that person wanted to say hello to some people. So let me call that person. I won't mention the name of the person that I wanted to talk to, but let's see if we can get connected. It doesn't show them online, but they might be monitoring their channel. All right, there's no connect. I'm going to call. Okay, I shut off Skype, but they definitely wanted to say hello to a few people. Good morning, mein Buntag. Do you have? Well, first of all, would you like to say hello to the people on YouTube, or would you not? Would you not like to say hello today? No, Dali? Okay, no problem. No load. Okay. All right, then I will. Okay. All right. So then I'm going to go back to my show, and I will tell everybody that you said hello. Okay. Not easy. Why is it not? Oh yeah, because of the virus, right? Okay. All right. No load. And okay. All right, honey. I'll talk with you later. Bye bye. Okay. So she did say she wants to say hello. So that was Miss Daisy May. She's living in Davao. And she just gave everybody a general hello. And although I did believe she was going to have internet today because she was going to be, when I spoke with her last night, she was at Auntie Lorraine's house. That's the woman whose house she worked at when I met her originally. And Auntie Lorraine has internet, but she went back to her apartment that she's sharing with Chris this morning early. And there's no internet. Well, she doesn't have a load, and Davao has a lockdown on just meandering around. So she didn't go out and get a load. But had she been at Auntie Lorraine's house, she was going to say hello to everybody. So basically, Daisy May just said to me, I can say hello to everybody for her, and anybody that wants to communicate with her through other means, you can confirm what I just said. So she's doing well for everybody involved. So Keith Jedi says, so what about 201? So let's get back to that. Scott Del Fuego put out Big Kevin's link. Warren is not available today, LaRue Seagrass. He's probably back in the ICU. He was collapsing yesterday. He told me he was feeling weak when we were on Skype. Somebody came in to give him medication. He was going to come back on this morning, but it never happened. Vegan 777. Hey, buddy, what's the scoop on Trump and the Freemason connection, brother? Well, let's answer Keith Jetski's question about what this coronavirus is, when it was first known about, and why they knew about it several months. You got to remember. All right, so we're going to go to a page called Event 201. So here it is, Event 201. Event 201, but I read it as 20, and then I use the globe for another 0, 2001. So it's the same type of event that occurred in 2001, as far as I'm concerned. And what is it? It's a global pandemic exercise. So here we're going to go, and I'm going to copy this link up at top, and I'm going to post this link on my page, and I'm going to post it there 3 times. This link on my page, and I'm going to post it there 3 times. This way it went out that there was a coronavirus in China several months, not several days, not several weeks, but several months before the coronavirus existed in Japan and China, several months before it existed in China. It was already known that the coronavirus was going to be the catalyst for a catastrophic world event. And it is catastrophic at this point. So it's cascading into something much, much more complex than anything ever comprehended. So we're going to go, and I'm going to read the article in full. So let's go back over here. Okay, so it's called the Event 201. When you go down the page, it comes to the website. So it's called Event 201. Now, you have to remember, this event, when I give you the date, I'll tell you how it was prepared for. So it comes from Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security Partnership with the World Economic Forum. So right here, they're giving it all away. Johns Hopkins is a medical university, Center for Health, so it's for health, security and partnership with the World Economic Forum. So right there it tells you in the first sentence what it's going to be. It's going to be about medical, because it's Johns Hopkins, health security, because it's going to deal with health security, and in partnership with the World Economic Forum. So let me copy the first sentence now. So I'll read it. Johns Hopkins Center for Security Partnership with World Economic Forum and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation hosted Event 201, a high-level pandemic exercise on October 18th, 2019. So how is it possible that Johns Hopkins University, wow, that's exactly 200 characters. That was like God telling me what to copy. That's pretty amazing. Wow. So Johns Hopkins University, in conjunction with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Now, those are the guys at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation that when it came to population growth, they wanted to add a 0 into the calculations to bring the population down to 0. Because whenever you take a number like 3 times 3 is 9 times 0 is 0. Well, that's what they did. Let's add a 0 to the numbers of birth rate growth in Africa or some other place they did that too. I forgot the conference. But so Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security in partnership with World Economic Forum and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation hosted Event 201, a high-level pandemic exercise on October 18th, 2019 in New York City, New York. The exercise illustrated areas where public and private partnerships will be necessary during the response to a severe pandemic in order to diminish large-scale economic and societal consequences, which is typically the exact opposite of what they want to do. All right, so I'm not going to read this whole article, but the pandemic that they use in this event 201 is a virus, and the virus is called, well, let's find out what the virus is called. To an event absent pandemic. Experts agree. Experts agree it is only a matter of time before one of these epidemics becomes global, a pandemic with potentially catastrophic consequences. So, how did they know about a pandemic virus on October 18th of 2019? How did they know about that? That's amazing. So now there's a link here, statement about NCOV and our pandemic exercise. So before I click that link, I want to copy it. I don't want to show links to stuff unless I read it first a little bit. So I click that link. Oh, okay, here we go. So it brings you to Johns Hopkins University. So in October 2019, Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security hosted a pandemic tabletop exercise called Event 201. All right, so let me get that link out there. So if you guys want to read this on your own, if I'm still online, I am. Stormy, welcome to the machine, Stormy. Stormy Wizard, I haven't seen you around in a while. Well, when it comes to conspiracy theories, there's nothing that's going to stop Stormy Wizard from a good conspiracy theory. Welcome to the machine. Bill Gates must be a psychic to know about the global pandemic event, says Stormy Wizard, Stormy 13, Wizard 13. Okay, so, yeah, just like Nancy Pelosi, Dianne Feinstein knew 6 weeks before the pandemic to dump her stock. And millions of dollars worth of stocks were dumped. And then Trump said she's an honorable person. She didn't do anything wrong. So Keith Jetski says, good stuff. So let's go back. Thank you, Keith. Let's go back to the article. And I'm going to, well, first let me get this link posted so you guys can read it yourself, because I imagine that Google is just about had it with me talking about Coors Beer's commercials. I would think usually they have shut me down before this. I think they said, well, we shut his last live stream, 3 live streams down. Let him talk for a little while. So let's go back over to this Johns Hopkins University. So let's go from the top. It's Johns Hopkins University, Bloomberg School. Bloomberg. Whoa. I think that's Bloomberg is a Jewish name. I don't know what Hopkins is, and I don't know if it has any meaning. So let's talk statement about NCOV and our pandemic exercise. I need water. I need to get some water because I'm going to read the first paragraph at least. By the way, this is another thing I do that most people can't do. Most people that give live streams, this is off topic, most people that give live streams that are smokers have to either A, run outside and have a cigarette, which is okay, or B, say, and it's a story, say they don't smoke in the house and you hear them puffing on their cigarettes while they're making live streams in the house that they don't smoke in. Just a little side note. I wanted to get that in before I talk about Johns Hopkins' statement about NCOV and our pandemic exercise. So let me get my glasses on, which I need to do because I can't see. Got to find my glasses. Okay, so in October 2019, Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security hosted a pandemic tabletop exercise called Event 201 with partners, the World Economic Forum, destroying the Economic Forum of the World, and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, who, by the way, want to reduce the population growth to 0. Recently, the Center for Health Security has received questions about whether that pandemic exercise predicted the current novel coronavirus outbreak in China. So, that's a question, really. To be clear, the Center for Health Security and Partners did not make a prediction. To be clear, the Center for Health Security and Partners did not make a prediction. No, they didn't do that. During our tabletop exercise, for the scenario, we modeled a fictional coronavirus pandemic. Okay, so it was a fictional coronavirus pandemic, but we explicitly stated it was not a prediction. Oh, okay. So Stormy 13, Wizard 13 was right. Bill and Melinda Gates and John Hopkins, they're psychics. Instead, the exercise served to highlight preparedness and response challenges that would likely arise in a very severe pandemic. Oh my God, they were looking out for us, ladies and gentlemen. And President Trump didn't know anything about this because he said he was going to build a wall. But he never built the. I mean, he said there was no way to predict the coronavirus pandemic event. He said that. The wall thing, off limits, the wall thing. So we are not now predicting that the NCOV 2019 outbreak will kill 65 million people. We are not now predicting that this virus will kill 65 million people. Although our tabletop exercise included a mock novel coronavirus. So John Hopkins, all right, so let's finish. The inputs we used for modeling the potential impact of that fictional virus are not similar to NCOV 2019. All right, so I don't know what that means. They did use, right here, they said, the exercise predicted the current novel corona outbreak in China. So for the scenario, we modeled a fictional coronavirus pandemic. I don't know if they used that word back then or not, but that's what it says. You guys try to figure out this subterfuge because it's subterfuge. So for this scenario, we modeled a fictional coronavirus pandemic. So they either used coronavirus or they fictionalized a virus with a fake name. They could have called it the wordsmith virus, the Scott Del Fuego virus, the Big Kevin virus, the Dennis Adam virus, the jet ski virus. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that's one channel, that's one link I put out there for you people to take a look at. Now, I'm going to go to another show, and I don't know that I'm going to get back to this show. It's called the Jericho Report. And this guy, I don't think that's it. I'm going to shut that off. I don't think this guy, he only puts out 15-minute videos. All right, I think I got the link still up here on the page because when they shut the internet off before, I lost a couple of tabs getting back on. Oh, yeah, this is it, 1306. That's the time of... It won't shut off. What did he just say? All right, so that one we can shut that. Now we shut off the other guy. Oh, God. I couldn't shut the damn thing off. I pushed the button to shut it off. It wouldn't shut off. All right, so now this one here is a joke. These people get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to go to the Isaac Asimov Memorial Debate, Artificial Intelligence. But that was just something else I watched. This is and Neil deGrasse, the world's greatest story maker. He's actually a good interviewer. For the first time, I saw a show where I actually enjoyed his interviewing techniques. So, because usually he's lying about the Earth being round. He usually does a lot of that. So, statement about the all right, let's go back. All right, so we got that one, and it's not this page. I got a lot of links up there. Okay, so just to let you know what day lockdown in New York City happened, on the day of 3/22. 3/22, New York Post 2020, 3/22. The lockdown is showing how New York City is all about, and that's the day one of the world's most prestigious and economic capitals of the world, New York City, and at one time, the world's most powerful city, is shut down on 3/22. But that's not what today's show is about. It's about this guy here. Well, all right. So this is not the Jericho Report. This is Trutheracy 3, however you say that name. So this guy here, this guy is President Trump's something. He's the Secretary of State or something. But watch, I'm going to back this up a little bit. I'm only going to put the words on the screen. He talks about disinformation, and then says some of this disinformation is coming from the White House or the government. And then you see a guy's face from that movie. I don't remember the name of the movie, where when they put the glasses on, they can see the truth about reality. So let me cue this up so that. Okay, let me cue this up. Let me get the screen big. Let me make this. Oh, God. Oh, I pushed the wrong button. Okay, so I don't know. Let's see, where can we get this? We got to go back. Let me. All right, we're back. See, now I did not push a button. I did not push the wrong button. I pushed a button, and it brought me to the next page. But let me cue this up for you. With let me go back another 10 seconds. I'm gonna let you watch this, but no sound. But I want to watch it first, because this guy is something in the White House, and then Trump in caption said, "You stupid! What did you just say?" But of course, it's a joke. But let me get this page open up. So let me start this, and so I get the words on the screen. All right, up, because when I opened up the page, I closed off the close out. All right, so it's about the mission statement. All right, I'm just going to let you watch the video. I don't know how to do this stuff. So, all right. So here, let's watch it. Okay, here's the part. It says, and finally, I want to talk about the disinformation that people are saying that Twitter around the world, some coming from the government, some of it coming from other individuals. And now this guy from that movie said, what that did he just say? So now this guy caught the sentence that Trump's main government official screwed the pooch by saying some of the disinformation comes from the government. And now look at Trump's response. Disinformation that people are saying, some of it coming from the government, some of it from individuals. Now watch what Trump. So disinformation comes from the government. So this guy, either he did it on purpose, either he set you up for the fall so that you'll have something to talk about, and I'll have something to talk about. But watch what Trump says to him. What did you say, you stupid SOB? So, but if you watch, I can't really show it to you with sound, but if you watch this sound bite, now they're going to repeat what the guy just said, and Trump is going to say that again. But if you watch this live, I mean, if you watch the actual government posting of this video, you're going to see Trump going, and he's looking down at the paper like this, like, what did you just say? So here we'll just do the closed caption and the. And then there's Trump. But so anyway, that's all fiction stuff. That's not part of the original interview. But that guy, whoever that guy was, I don't know who the guy was. I'm not gonna. I don't remember their names. I just remember what they say. So this one says Corona beer advertising is a bunch of lies. So that's one thing. And then the one I really wanted to talk to you about, I did, about the statement from Johns Hopkins University. And we'll go back here. And this was for the scenario we modeled, a fictional coronavirus. So you people can believe what you want, and you can, but you can take it to the bank that okay, let me go back. Let's go back to the original article. Okay, so here's the deal. If they scheduled a high-level pandemic exercise on October 18th of 2019, then that means they had to be preparing for the exercise for 6 months to a year. Now, there are people on my YouTube channel right now that could tell you how long to schedule a pandemic exercise using military and police and firefighters, how long that would take. But I would say that the pandemic exercise that was scheduled, that did take place on October 18th of 2019, I would say that there was notices going out to secure places for the people to stay for the event. Bill and Melinda Gates needed a place to stay, like apartment, and they needed a staff to go along with the exercise. I would say that the exercise for the pandemic exercise on October 18th of 2019, I would say went back 6 months to a year, which means 6 months to a year ago, they knew about a high-level pandemic exercise that was going to occur. And the fact that it happened to be a pandemic exercise, November, December, January, 3 to 4 months before it happened is what they do all the time. They prepare. They tell you they're going to do this. They tell you that they're going to do it, and then they do it. So let me give you the link for that again. Then I'm going to go back and read the comments. They Live. That's right, Stormy. The name of that movie is They Live, and They Live was a movie about how we're getting lied to, and there was some guy that had some kind of sunglasses, that when he looked through the sunglasses, if the billboard said, had a picture of like the Coppertone suntan lotion, when you put the glasses on, you might see a picture of spend your money now or something. I only watched the movie once years ago, but it was a very good movie. What is really behind the billboard advertising of a beautiful woman putting Coppertone lotion on her body, the chances of you ever getting to put Coppertone lotion on that beautiful woman in your lifetime, I mean, it depends on who you are, of course. I'm going to eliminate myself from this scenario, but the chances of most people putting Coppertone lotion on a woman as pretty as the Coppertone girl, basically zero. But the poster, when you put the glasses on, just said buy Coppertone lotion or something like that. You'd have to go look at the movie They Live. So back to the John Escape, welcome to the machine. Oh, Blue Rose is here. Blue Rose, I want to tell you what happened yesterday, Blue Rose. So after I spoke with you, I called up Daisy May, and I told her, she said, what's up? And I told her what I was doing. It was about, I guess it was close to 6 o'clock. And Daisy said, so, I said, a lot of people want to talk to you tomorrow morning. And she said, okay, if I'm at Auntie Lorraine's house, I'll be able to talk because she'll have free internet. And I told her, don't buy a load just to come on YouTube. So she was at Auntie Lorraine's house, and she was going to stay there, and she stayed there last night, but she left early in the morning. So she said, so what's up? I said, well, I just got off Skype with Blue Rose. And she goes, what? And I said, she goes, you talked to Blue Rose? I said, yeah. And she laughed. She thought it was funny. And she said to say hello. So I did tell her that you and I have been talking regular, like we did for years and years before I met even Daisy May. And she thought that was quite funny. We had a good laugh. So you did give us a good laugh. And that was it. There was nothing, no other conversation. Just what? I could picture her face backing up. You talked to Blue Rose? And I'm going, of course. He's my friend. And she got a laugh out of that. So Keith Jetsky says, good stuff. That's there, Michael. Blue Rose says, during this time of the year, I usually work unloading pallets of mulch into and out of semi-trucks. This year, pallets of mulch are just sitting in various warehouses along with a lot of other products. Yeah, that's she well, we'll talk about that later. She did say that the one piece of information she said, she goes, she wanted to know if you were still working at the same job. So I told her I'd ask you. So Stormy's Tavican 777. I guess they're friends. All right. So John Escape, welcome to the machine, John Escape. Hello, room, says John Escape. Those certain corporations partnering. All right. Blue Rose says, wow, I can see without my glasses. Those certain corporations they're partnering with, like Walmart, has a lot of closed down stores due to plumbing problems that FEMA is on the site for. Those certain corporations they're partnering with, like Walmart, have a lot of closed down stores due to plumbing problems that FEMA is on the site for. Well, you know, I don't understand that. I did work in commercial buildings. Commercial buildings should not have plumbing problems. I just don't care. That stuff has all been sorted out 50 years ago. But I'll take your word for it. John Escape says anise water. So aside from the one thing that I can do that other guy, I was going to say man, but that would have been a slip of the tongue. The one thing that I can do is I can sit here and drink 2 or 3 bottles of anise water. And my bladder will literally hold 3 quarts of water, no problem. But the other thing that I can do is that although I smoke cigarettes, I can do a 4 or 5 hour live stream and not have, not the need, not the want, but the necessity to smoke. I can go, when I leave the house in the morning to go to the city, I don't bring cigarettes. So if I leave at 7 o'clock and I get back at 5 o'clock, that's 10 hours I go without a cigarette. If I have a 3 hour live stream, I don't smoke a cigarette. If I have a 4 hour live stream, I don't smoke a cigarette. If I'm working outside on a project, I don't smoke. If I'm on the beach, I don't smoke. But that other, I almost said man, almost slip of the tongue. That other fella, he has got to smoke. He can't stop. He has no control over his, not needs, not wants, over his incessant need for nicotine. He's addicted to it, and he can't stop. And if you listen real closely to his videos, you'll hear the cigarette lighter flicking on, even when he's in the house. That he doesn't smoke in the house. Even when he's in the house, you'll hear the cigarette lighter flicking on, and you'll hear the breath, you know, like smoking a cigarette. And then, but sometimes he says, well, I got to go outside and smoke a cigarette. Well, I don't care if he smokes in the house or out of the house. I don't really care about that. What I do have a problem with is that the lies never stop from that. Almost said man again, slip of the tongue. They never stop from that guy. Listen carefully. Put all the other sound down. Shut the doors, close the windows, and listen very carefully. You'll hear the cigarette. He'll stop that today. Now that he's been caught with his pants down, but he will smoke in the house. I guess there's nobody there to stop him from smoking. And it's his house if he wants to smoke in the house. Personally, when Daisy was here and I was living with Daisy, I would never, ever, not one time, ever smoke a cigarette in the house. I mean, from the day I met Daisy, never did I smoke even one cigarette inside the house. If it was raining, I just went outside with an umbrella if I wanted a cigarette, but I never smoked a cigarette in the house. Now, if she went to the store, I might open up the windows and smoke a cigarette. But with her in the house, never. Because she didn't like the smell of smoke. But I never lied about whether I smoked in the house. If I wanted, first of all, let's clear this up. Unlike some people on YouTube, I don't care. If it's my house and I want to smoke a cigarette in my house and I'm living with somebody that doesn't like it, well, we can open up the windows and let the wind blow the smoke out, put the fan on. I can walk outside, which is the easier solution. Just walk outside, smoke a cigarette. And I also always gave Daisy the courtesy of brushing my teeth when I walked back in the house. But she would still complain my clothes smelled of smoke. And they do. Or they can leave. And it's just that simple. It's not complicated. It's not real complicated. I smoke cigarettes and I always have, except for when I don't. Sometimes I go a day, a week, a month, 3 months, 4 months without a cigarette, and sometimes I smoke half a pack a day. But if I want a cigarette and I'm in my house and I'm paying the bills and I am the person who put all this stuff together, and you don't like it, then you can go outside, open the windows and go outside, or I'll go outside, or you can pack. Not complicated. It's really not that complicated. But of course, we have men who are not so manly and cow down to the wishes of their partners. And if that's what you want to be, that's what you do. But I mean, who cares whether you smoke in the house or not? The point is that you say you don't smoke in the house and you do smoke in the house. That's the point. You can't even tell the truth about whether or not you smoke in the house. Now, I have several videos. I've watched several videos. Now, if you're not smoking cigarettes, well, then you're puffing on something. I don't know what it is you're puffing on, but if you're not smoking cigarettes, what am I hearing a big lighter click for in the background? So I just wanted to share that little piece of information, that's another piece of information that's disseminated on the internet, that a certain blogger, according the Philippines' most greatest, most wonderful, most prestigious, most intelligent, highest IQ, no need of money. All the money that he needs comes in every month on a certain day, and he doesn't need Super Chat, and he doesn't need PayPal or anything like that. That's just another little thing that that I thought I would share with people. That if you listen real carefully to some of his older videos, you'll hear the cigarettes being lit up, puffed on. Sometimes you hear the big lighter, sometimes you don't. And then you'll hear the breath, the in-breath and the out-breath of the smoker, the Philippines' greatest blogger who smokes. And I smoke, so there's no problem. But the Philippines' greatest blogger says he doesn't smoke in the house, but while he's doing live shows, he does smoke. I hear. Now, can I prove it? You could prove it by listening to the videos very carefully, loud, with no background noise. So that's just another false scenario that he portrays as a non-house smoker, and he still smokes in the house. So I guess there's no one around to critique the smoking in the house, but it doesn't matter, because even with the wind blowing through your house, even on a windy day, the smoke goes on everything in your house. I don't care if you have the windows open or not. I don't care that you smoke. I just want to let people know that that's just another story that you hear, that the Philippines' greatest blogger doesn't smoke in the house, but if you listen carefully, you can hear him smoking in the house. Notice, pay attention to the details. Okay, so the devil is in the details, as they say. So, digressing back to Blue Rose, Daisy said hello. Blue Rose is saying that a lot of stuff is just sitting around doing nothing, so there's no sales. Vegan 777 is saying hello. The Stormy 13, Wizard 13. Vegan 777, still love your videos and contributing stuff, mate. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I mean, I had nothing to do. I went to bed last night. God, I went to bed. Wow, it was a beautiful day all day yesterday. It was hot. If you notice, I have a good color on my face. And oh my God, I don't have a hat on. Look, holy macaroni. Holy macaroni. I don't have a hat on. And look at what's happened to my head. Look. My hairline. It's back. damn near 3/8 of an inch since high school. I know it's hard for you to see, so let me highlight that a little bit. My hairline is back. I am embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. Oh my God! Wait, let me highlight that so that I will feel much more secure now that I'm admitting that my hairline is receding since high school. Look at this. This is crazy. Look, look. Let's say that my hairline was there and now it's all the way up here. It's damn near back 3/8 of an inch. Holy macaroni. I bet it's the same on the other side. Yeah, yeah, holy macaroni. Batman, it's back, back, back. Oh my God, let me get a hat on so I'm not, I dropped the cat. Let me get a hat on so I don't get embarrassed that my hairline is back 3/8 of an inch since high school. Holy macaroni. Holy macaroni. Yeah. Holy macaroni. By God, I hear stories. I remember there was a story on the internet that I had a wig, a rug, a toupee on, and that my hair was fake. I remember that story. I remember another story that I dyed my hair. Now, Daisy did like my hair dyed on occasion, but I don't like it dyed. I'm going for the soft. But look at this. Look at this. It's back. It's back. It's back 3/8 of an inch since high school. Oh my! Look. There's a lot of it though. I gotta tell you, there's a lot of it. Look at this. Look. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this in the back. Yeah, baby. Real hair in the front of my head. Whoa! So I just want to clear things up. Two things I can do that other guy can't do is I can sit here and drink 3 quarts of water without having to relieve myself, and I can sit here for 5 hours and not even think about smoking a cigarette. I don't need to go outside. Oh, excuse me while I do a commercial interruption. I have to smoke a cigarette because I am weak. I am weak. I can't control my necessities and my needs. I can't put it through my head that for 5 hours I won't smoke a cigarette, or 5 days, or 5 months. I can't control myself. I can't control what I say. I can't control what I do. I have to smoke a cigarette. I have to tell everybody everywhere that I've ever met for all time. I have to make it clear who those people are and why they're butthurt. I have to tell those people because they don't know why they're butthurt, but I do. So therefore, I will tell you why you are butthurt, and then I will give you details about why you're butthurt. Now, I myself, I'm butthurt. Warren Hunt is butthurt. Who else is butthurt? Everybody's butthurt. I'm butthurt. You're butthurt. She's butthurt. They're butthurt. They were butthurt. Everybody's butthurt. Everybody. Not just 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 people, but if you were going to think there was a virus going around, you would think it would have been called the butthurt virus. If you were going to talk about a virus that was going to spread through the Philippines, you would call it the virus of butthurt, or the butthurt virus, because everybody in the Philippines blogging community even through the internet, have caught the butthurt virus. I would say that the butthurt virus has the ability to transfer itself through electronic medium known as the internet, and you are now possibly subjecting yourself to the butthurt virus by listening to this show. All right, so let me get back. Let me put the aircon on. So it was brutally hot outside yesterday. I was talking about Blue Rose and Daisy. It was freaking brutal out. That's where I was talking. But look at this tan, this nice tan that I got. Look at that. Nice tan got going there. So when I work, I typically work with a nice tank top like this. And I like the sun. And I like, when I'm done with this stream, I'll go outside and do some tinkering around in the yard on something. And I like the sun. I don't like it when it's 80 degrees, but I like it when the sun is up around 120, 130 degrees. I will go outside and drink a liter of water within like 2 minutes before I go outside. And then I'll put another liter of water where I'm working, and I'll drink that probably within 45 minutes when I start. And then I'll be okay for a few hours in the sun. But I like that 125, 130 degree weather. I see the locals walking around with their, looking like with the Arab sheiks with the covering, and they can't take the heat, these guys. They can't take the heat. Let me put a hat on. I'm real embarrassed about this. My hairline receding 3/8 of an inch. Look at this. It's damn near back 3/8 of an inch since I was, oh God, man, am I embarrassed about that. Holy macaroni. Let me put a hat on. Okay, that's much better. Now you can't see my receding hairline. So LaRue Segrest is back. Blue Rose, hello, friend. John Escapes, my dear friend, hello. Wow, I can see without my glasses. My dear friend, hello, and big about you too. Hi, LaRue, says John Escape. LaRue, nice to see you, dear friend John Escape. Mike, early morning, missed show, gotta go. Okay. All right, buddy. Thanks for stopping by, John Escape. All right. Vegan 777 says goodbye. Good night, John, from Dennis Adams. Hello, Dennis. He said, all right, I want to talk to you about my show as opposed to other shows. Now, there are quite a few shows that have real commenters. Now, I was also listening to this forum here on this forum here gave me some information that I knew existed, but this Isaac Asimov Memorial Debate. Now, if you want to listen, it's actually quite interesting. The woman that you see here is the woman who created the Roomba robot programming. So I'm going to give you the link. Now, this debate are from one, I don't know that one of these men are from Google Alphabet. This is the woman who created the Roomba robot. One is an author, and they're all scientists in artificial intelligence 3 times. And then I'll post the link 3 times after that. I thought it was a great show. And the reason I realized it was a great show is because what they were talking about in that show was artificial intelligence. Now, the woman who created the Roomba robot was asked some questions, what the programming for artificial robots were, and basically they were the 3 prefaces that a robot has to follow. One is one of the prerequisites for robotics is Stormy Wizard. You're right about that. He was on TED Talk. I forgot all about that, Stormy. Stormy saying, oh boy. All right. I'm getting all right. So I'm going to read the comments. But so all those people at the Isaac Asimov. Let me see if I'm posting a link. Yeah, okay. This is the Isaac Asimov link. I'll post it 3 times. And I listened to the whole show. So, and the reason I mention this is because my channel has real people on it, on my channel. They're real, they're not bought subscribers. I have eliminated people that I've explained things to, and they can't get it through their head, don't say certain things on my channel. So I just disassociate them from my channel. I block them. Okay. So everybody knew the name of the movie except me. And I know the premise of the movie. Stormy says, has anyone heard they have a treatment that has passed trials 100% recovery? Yeah, I've heard that, Stormy. And also I've read in the 3 hours that I did research last night, I think it was Adam Kokesh, who I don't like, and I unsubscribed from his channel. There's just too much nonsense on his channel. But the kill rate of the virus is 1.3%. So that means you have a 98.7% chance of living, unless you're over 80 years old. So I've heard they have a full, well, if Bill and Melinda Gates and Johns Hopkins University knew about the pandemic probably as much as a year ago, I would imagine they have a virus cure. All right, so Keith said, they live, we sleep, we sheeple of America. Not you, Keith, not me, not the people on my channel, but the people that, well, let me go back to where I was. So this program that I just posted the name and the links for, these people are all computer programmers. But one thing that I know that they did for robotics is one of the goals of these people on the show is to create a robot that can't be differentiated from between a robot and a human being. And then the robot is going to try to differentiate another robot with the same programming to see if the robot can differentiate between whether it's a real person or not. And that's to this degree of trying to figure out whether a person is a real person or not. The robot can't figure out whether it's a real person or a robot or not either. Now, there was I don't watch it. I forget the name of the show. There's a science fiction show that just had that up on the show. I watched it a few weeks ago. I didn't like it as much as, I don't like their shows, but I watched them for the concepts. They're well put together for maybe like I don't know, I guess from the 10-year-old to 20-year-old, like, average mental capacity. They're well put together. I forgot the name of the show. But anyway, they just had a show where you tried to differentiate who was the robot. Turned out that the robot was the announcer. All right, so going back to the comments, Keith Jetsky says, they live, we sleep, we sheeple of America. That's right. Stormy 13 was at 13 says, I posted a vid a couple of days ago with information. It's a World War II malaria drug, generic. Okay, so Stormy does, he's a video maker. He's been on YouTube since I've been on YouTube. I remember Stormy from even back 2010, 11, 12, like that. So he does make videos. You're welcome to post the name of your channel. And you can't post links because you're not a moderator, but if someone wants to post Stormy's link to his address, one of my moderators, you're welcome to do so. Because Stormy does make videos about conspiracy theories. Vegan says, thanks. So Stormy says, I posted a vid 2 days ago with information. It's a World War II malaria drug, generic, in conjunction with dissolvable zinc. Okay, so maybe they mutated it with zinc is what he's saying. Okay, Slick Willie. It's called, I got to put the glasses on for that. Slick Willie. It's called chloroquine. But my doctor told me just today she wouldn't prescribe without other testing for heart problems. I did hear something with quinine helps the cure rate. I don't remember where I read it, but I did hear that quinine will help with the symptoms. So, but it's not good to take quinine. I don't know. Quinine has some sort of a stimulant in it, I think. I'm not real sure about that. I'm pretty sure quinine is like a stimulant similar to, it's a natural stimulant. Somebody want to tell me what it is, so I don't want to make a guess. Slick Willie, apparently Trump ordered like 1 million doses of this stuff, with which the FDA has approved in record time because of the gravity of the situation. Okay, so Trump, another lucky guess by Mr. Trump. Canny Ford, hey everyone, greetings from the West Coast, Los Angeles. Hope all is well. Welcome to the machine, Canny Ford. See, now Canny Ford was a member of my Patreon community and left the community and explained to me what was going on, and that's cool. Canny Ford is cool with me. I'm cool with Canny Ford. Not everybody that was a member of my Patreon community. One thing I won't do is I no longer send, and for a while I did send Canny Ford my updated video lists. Now, on my Patreon page, I guess I should give you the link to my Patreon page in case anyone wants to become a member. It's gone. Let's see if we get it back. One thing I will do is if you become a member of the last 100 plus videos. Now, once your first pledge is, all of them were on YouTube. All of them were, well, not all of them were original shows because I make doubles and triples of shows. All of them were allowed, and they're saying that our time on YouTube is supposed to be a hobby. Well, for you, it's a hobby. For me, it's one source of income. And notice I said one source of income. But for you, cry as much as one crying in the wilderness about how much money he doesn't make because no one sends him super chat. So digressing back to my live stream, if you become a member of my Patreon community at the $20 or above level, I will send you and once a list of 100 videos. Now, I actually need to make a list of the last 200 videos. But that day that I spent making those videos, that video list, that day, it was raining pretty hard. I had nothing else to do. So if anybody becomes a member I think that most people will agree that YouTube creators, people that create, people that give people a worthwhile show, are YouTube creators. Now, fortunately, I have a bunnies basically moving down into, I guess, average $1 a day. Okay, I mean, for all the work I put into YouTube, $1 a day is not a lot of money. So now I lost my connection. And we'll see if the connection actually got lost. I see 17. Thank you, Blue Rose, if you're there, for putting Stormy's link out. Yeah. Okay, let's get down to the bottom of the page. I'm down to the bottom of the page. Okay, so fortunately, yeah, Blue Rose, he's got a great channel. And I've been watching Stormy's videos for as long as I can remember. I don't watch a lot of videos. I have to tell you, people that are creators on YouTube, people that do their research, people that go out and spend the time to and can make people laugh. Okay, not laughing at you they're laughing at, but laugh in general. People like that are YouTube creators. People that just spread the spoo. That's not so creative. All right, Stormy, done some great. I wanted to talk about. I think I covered the links I want to talk about. Let me see if I missed anything. I mentioned that in November I lost a $3 pledge. Since then, I gained a $50 pledge and two 20s, actually, since November. So I lost a total of 3. Actually, it was 4. There was a $5 one. So I gained a total of $95 per month in pledges on my Patreon. And I did have one member of my Patreon community that was donating $50 per month for a little over a year and a half. And because of a medical condition, dropped it down to a $20 level. So my Patreon communities, for the most part, they stay with me, and they changed their pledge. And they're welcome to do so. Now, he stopped, because that was a little bit overkill, and I was almost embarrassed to cash that check. He stopped also. So that was just a little bit overkill. Now, I know that some people can afford that, but I was embarrassed that there was a $500 and $100 pledge, and asked both those people privately to stop, and they did. And then they later became lower pledge members. One did and one didn't. 1913, the Fed was created. That's what I wanted to talk about. Okay, in 1913, the Fed was created. And 13 years later was the Great Depression. However, before that, I need more water. The name of my channel is Hoodwinked by an Angel. And the reason it's Hoodwinked by an Angel is because the dollar bill is an angel in that it brings information to this world, albeit information of a satanic nature, aka the United States Mafia. The dollar bill has been used to disseminate who is my book, Angels on the Ark, is about, and proves. We're going to do a bladder test here today. This is the second bottle. That's 2 bottles, and I drank one this morning after breakfast. That's straight. And I still haven't used the restroom. So the name Hoodwinked by an Angel is similar to the United States Mafia in that on the dollar bill, of course, here we go. They're going to shut my channel down for this. That is a hognose bat with its wings spread over the obverse and reverse of this, the Great Seal of the United States of America. Let me see if I get a better shot of that. Well, anyway, that's a hog nose. You can go to my channel and watch the video. And if I turn this around, on the other side is the Great Horned Owl. This is not an accident. It was done on purpose. And it was done through and for organizations like the Illuminati, the Knights of Malta, and the Vatican, so that they could communicate with each other before computers existed. So whenever anything passes information from one place to another, like the dollar bill or a book or a scroll, and that's all described in my book, Angels on the Ark, a scroll passes information. And a scroll is an ancient form of book. A book passes information. So therefore, a scroll and a book is a messenger. Depicts the beginning of the New World Order. When the Great Pyramid ceases, that will be the end of the world as we know it. And it's almost to that point. Now, I do remember a few years ago, someone had plans to blow up the Great Pyramid. If that happens, when that happens, then that will be the end of the New World Order. Now, they may do it. They might just send off a radiological bomb to, infect by radiation the entire area, so no one will be able to go see it. But the Great Pyramid is the beginning of the New World Order. That's why it's on the dollar bill. And the eagle on the dollar bill, that represents the United States government, that represents the end of the world because of the political and or military might. And now they have total control over all of the United States, which is as close to martial law as you're ever going to see up until today. But next week, it could be stricken down even more. So the Great Pyramid represents the beginning of the New World Order, and the United States, the eagle and the flag and the United States government represents the end of the world messenger. And there is no greater message that mankind could ever perceive to be out in the public eye that has spread itself to all corners of the world, of the flat earth. It has spread itself to the entire flat earth, like the mist, the fine mist of dew in the morning. I think it's Deuteronomy 6, I think, of the morning dew throughout the world. Okay, well, that's the dollar bill, baby. Anybody want? Oh God! See, they shut my connection off again. As soon as I don't know if it goes down to 0, it went back on. It went down to 15. Down to 15. You can't talk about anything real. I got to tell you. Okay, so the dollar bill is the and probably the word that it is the angel of is probably more satanic in nature. Now, it may not have started like that, but it certainly ended up like that. So we have now a government that is basically, Trump promised there'd never be martial law in his presidency, and he just signed into effect martial law. By all intent and purposes, we are in martial law right now in America and in the Philippines as well. And, it's their prerogative to do that, of course. I mean, I can't say anything against the United States mafia, that's for sure. But Trump made promises that there'd never be martial law. There's an 8 p.m. curfew in New York City. But digressing back, the dollar bill is the angel of the Lord Satan, Satan's God, the God of Satan. And those people that know about the symbology know that I outed the symbology for what it was. Something nobody else in the world can say. Other people knew it existed, but I am the first person in the history of the world to ever publish a book proving that the dollar bill and the King James Bible are synced up to one another. Nobody else ever said it before. All right, bye-bye, Vegan77. Thanks for stopping by. Stormy says, gotta go. AI keeps cutting me off. Bye, Vegan and Hoodie. Take care, Stormy. Okay, yeah, I'm down to 13. Well, they left. Okay, so the dollar bill is an angel or a messenger. So therefore, you have been hoodwinked by an angel and or a messenger of God, and in this case, God, Satan. Okay, now that's one of my notes. Now we'll go back to my notes. That's why I call my channel Hoodwinked by an Angel. Of course, Dianne Feinstein sells off millions of stock just weeks before the Corona beer hits. And Trump praises Dianne Feinstein as an honorable person after telling the world she is totally corrupt in his pre-2016 election campaign. All right, so also on 3/22, the day they shut down Wall Street, that's the 40th anniversary of the Georgia Guidestones. And then, of course, we have event 201, October 18, 2019, a full 3 months before about you hear the problems in China. And that's the end of my notes. So I guess I will go back and see if my live stream is still live, which it is. Okay. I'm going to give everybody a shout out that I can. We'll start Vegan777. He's been with me for about, I know what I was talking about. I was talking about artificial intelligence. And there's a guy out there, slip of the tongue. There's a guy out there that says he's the most powerful and resourceful Philippines blogger. But on his channel, all you see are comments from people that have no channel content, no videos, and no recommended channels, no video content. Some of them might have playlists, but that's artificial intelligence. You can buy those commenters. You can buy commenters of an artificial intelligent nature. In fact, even I do believe you buy them through Google, you're allowed to have them on your channel. I do believe that Google allows, don't quote me on this, but I do believe that somehow, and I don't know how it happens or how to do it, but I do believe that Google allows people somehow, I don't know how it's done, to buy subscribers and commenters. Now, if you buy them from certain places, Google allows it. If you buy them from other places and Google finds out, they'll shut your channel down. So I do believe that some of the Philippines' greatest bloggers has fake accounts posting on his channel. I do believe that. I don't believe for a minute that anybody would agree with that, almost anything that guy says. It's actually laughable to believe that somebody would come on and say, great show, one of the best, you're the best. I think they're doing that. I think they're doing that and then snickering behind your back. That's what I think. So anyway, that's what I think. We're down to 14. Yeah, they might have shut my channel down. They might have shut it down. They don't like a lot of stuff that I say. But anyway, digressing back to that other man's show, there's a lot of commenters that when you go to the commenters page, they're not real commenters. But on my page right now, Stormy 13 was at 13, Vegan 77, Blue Rose. Now, Blue Rose doesn't have any content for a reason, and I understand the reason. Slick Willie, he's been around a long time. He's not a troll. He makes, valid points. Scott has content on his channel. Dennis Adams has content on his channel. Canny Ford has no content, but I know Canny from conversations with Canny, so I know he's a real person. But let's see, who else was here today? LaRue Seagrass. Now we know she's a stand-up warrior of truth in her own right. Keith Jetski, I don't know about him. He may have commented on my channel before. I don't remember. Scott Del Fuego has some music on his channel. John Escape. You're never going to see a channel from John Escape, and he has his reasons, and I understand what they are. Dennis Adams has a lot of content on his channel. Big shout out to Dennis Adams. Big shout out to LaRue. Big shout out to Big Kevin. Let's see who else was with me today. Jane, Art of Life, Thought, and Inspiration. Now, Jane has been with me for 8 years. Now, I apologize, Jane. I did not see your comment. I apologize. So, Jane, Art of Life, has been with me for, I would say, all of the 10 years I've been on YouTube. Let's see who else. Vegan knows me as a Rabbi Jew Barker, baby. He knows me a long time. I do remember his name. LaRue, Keith Jetski, Dennis Adams. They're all real people. Big Kevin, of course, is a real person, not a fraud with fake troll accounts. I don't think there's anybody on Big Kevin's channel that is a troll in the sense that they're an artificial intelligence or fake. People use other names, but I don't think Big Kevin does not buy subscribers or fake comments. But you can buy them. And I'm going to tell you something. At one time back in the 90s, it was the late 90s when I had a computer, of course, since 1990. But I was playing this game, backgammon and chess, these games online. At some point back then, they made a machine that played chess, but when you were talking to it through the comments, it didn't make any sense. The same thing with backgammon. And then there were people on the game site, I forgot the name of the game site, that you could talk to in real life, and you could put your telephone number in by separating the digits with commas or spaces, and you could call them up and talk to them in real life. And I used to do that all the time. I would say, before I play with you, backgammon or chess, I want to talk to you on the phone, so I know you're not a computer-generated conversation. So at some point, artificial intelligence took over the internet, where you can't tell whether or not they're real people. So I think that there's a certain blogger out there that buys comments, or several dozen bloggers out there that buy comments and buy likes and views. And when you read some of the comments, they don't actually make sense, but they're all praiseworthy of someone who believes themselves to be the greatest blogger in the Philippines. And they all praise his wonderful attributes for blogging. So Pinoy Hoy is a real person. So you can buy fake commenters and fake subscribers and views and subs. You can buy those, all possible. And YouTube will monetize your channel once you get the hours. Now, I'm not saying, I don't think he did that. I think he earned the 1,000 subscribers legally. But I do believe that the commenters, when you go to their channel, there isn't anybody that has any content. Chi Corsairs was here. She has several dozen videos up on YouTube. Baggy Eyes, he has no content that I know of, but I could be wrong. Thomas Groob, I know through Patreon. Two Bears makes, whether he has content or not, he adds to the conversation. So we're back. We're right up to the top of the page. Truth smacking activist on the corner. Uh, yeah, he knows that my first live stream today got shut down. So we're gonna end this live stream. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna get some sun, and I'm gonna work on this hairline. I think what I'm gonna do is I got some fish out in the backyard in some ice that I gotta clean. I heard that putting fresh fish liver on your hair where it's receding back damn near 3/8 of an inch from high school. I heard that fresh fish liver oil from this mark right here, over here, and the same thing on the other side. Fresh, that's why. Fresh fish liver oil. Just smear it on there. I heard that'll bring back your hair. I heard. Now, if you got a head that needs more, you got to get more fish, because you don't get a lot of fish oil, fish liver oil out of a little fish. These are little fish, but you might need I don't know, I don't know what kind of fish you need. An orca? An orca. Maybe you need an orca whale to get enough fish liver oil to compensate for that dome that you got going there. I got to tell you, that's funny. But of course, that's the guy named Big Kev, who's got a chrome dome that doesn't stop. That guy, when I look at Big Kevin's head, I'm thinking that Big Kevin needs about 2 ounces of fish oil to cover up that chrome dome. Well, that's the cure, Big Kev. 2 ounces of fresh fish liver oil on your head, and in a few weeks you'll have hair. And if you do it daily, twice a day, you'll have black hair. And of course, there are people, no matter how much fish oil you put on your head, it won't grow back, because it's not a guaranteed method to grow back your hair. But if I were you, Big Kevin, I'd start putting fish liver oil on my head before you go to Brazil, so that girl will see a full head of black hair growing in. I don't see any comments. All right, so I'm going to end my live stream. I'm going to go outside and get some sun. I'm going to crush that fish liver up. I'm going to put it on this bald spot here. It's going back, I got to tell you. It's going back since I was in high school. It's back damn near 3/8 of an inch. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, Daisy said to say hello, specifically to Warren H., Blue Rose, Scott Del Fuego, Dennis Allen, specifically for those 5 people, and myself, and also Mercury 3. So specifically for those people, Daisy said to say hello. She mentioned your name by name. And next time I get a chance, I don't have anything else that I have to say to Daisy today. She's doing well. I'll try to get her on a live stream sometime in the near future. But you guys that have Daisy's email address, or if you want Daisy's email address and you don't have it for some reason and you want it, my circle of friends, just shoot me off a message through Yahoo, and I'll send you her email, because she's wanted to talk to you guys today, but there was no load, and her city's on lockdown, not allowed outside. All right, I'm Bing Permy. Thanks for watching. Well, oh my God, wait, one more thing. I can't do this. I can't do this without doing this. I can't do this without doing this, because I'm totally embarrassed at my hairline. I'm totally embarrassed that my hairline is going back. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it up. Now you can't see. And of course, if I put the hat on backwards like that, you guys can't see a damn thing. And now I'm going to hypnotize you. You didn't see my receding hairline. You did not see my receding hairline. Slowly, you will forget about my receding hairline. Slowly, you will forget about my receding hairline. Slowly. slowly. Umping Permy from Michael Fazio and Daisy May in the Philippines, baby. Bye-bye for now.